Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia and today I have the rest of my September TBR. So I guess about a week ago I posted my Shorty September 30 stories in 30 days or whatever I called it announcement, and I do plan to read 30 different short stories in 30 days, and I will link that video below in case you would like to take a look and you didn't see it. But I am also reading some other books for Shorty September, and I have some short novels and one nonfiction book picked out, one book of a different event that I am going to read, and then some other stuff. So I just wanted to go over some of that with you as well, because it sounded like a lot, the 30 stories in 30 days, but if you think about it, one short story is not all I'm going to read in a day, unless it's a really long story. I'm going to be reading some other books along with those short stories. So I had picked out some books already that one or two might be from the library, and most of them are books that I had on hand that I either wanted to read or reread that are short. 200 pages or below is what I define as a short book. And I will confess that it was not until just the last day or so that I even was aware that Shorty September was a sort of a hosted, more official type event. But it is. I don't know. I have gone through 2 years of doing Shorty September thinking, oh, we just read short things. And I did not know that there was hosts and official announcements and prompts. I don't know where I have been. But I just watched the announcement video on the channel Epistolary, and it was a delight. And I love these prompts. And I will also put that video below. And I don't know where I've been that I have never seen this channel before, but they are absolutely a joy and a delight. And I realized that the books that I had already set aside actually all do fit somewhere in their prompts. They have about 12 different ones, and I'm not going to go through all their prompts. But when I talk about the books that I have selected, I will tell you which prompt of theirs that it fits into. And then I do encourage you to go watch their whole video and hear the explanation of their prompts and the photos that go with them, because it's very funny. It's about all different kinds of shorts, like the clothes, and then what category of reading that would go with, and it's really, really good. So first of all, I do have one nonfiction book, and this is Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs, and it is autobiographical, and I did read this back in the 80s. There was this one summer when I was hired as sort of a research assistant by a professor who was working, he had a grant, and he was assembling some materials for a course that he wanted to teach, and he was looking for some books and also some primary sources that related to slavery, narratives and primary sources. So I was visiting some local archives and some museums, and I don't know, I was gathering stuff. So I read this book at that time, and I really enjoyed it. Really struck a chord. But I never had my own copy, and I never read it again. And then last year, or I feel like it's been a year and a half, I did buy a copy of it. And it was one of those times where the second you buy it, you're like, oh, yes, I need to read this. Here it is. I'm all set. And I still haven't done it. So here it is. It's short. I want to read it. And it fits into the prompt. Prompt number 11. Elizabethan stories, a historical read. So Elizabethan shorts, like those bloomer type shorts that you see on old paintings from that time period, but it could be anything historical. So since this is a nonfiction historical book, this qualifies. My next one is one of the ones that I know for sure that I am going to read, and that is Forster by Keegan. And because this is one of the 6 books that are finalists for the BookTube prize, and this is the one that I read the farthest away back in the past. I read this last year, well before the BookTube prize judging time period started, and I loved it. I want to read it again and see how I feel that it fits in the 6 books that I need to rank. That's where I'm at. It's just deciding my rankings on these books, because I've already read them all. But this one was so far away that I want to read it again. Let's see what prompt this one fits. You know what? There's water here. One of the prompts is Dolphin Shorts, a book with water on the cover. So that's where it goes. All right, the next one is a book that I got from the library. It is The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street by Helen Hanff. I have read 84 Charing Cross Road more than once, probably at least 3 times, and that, I would say, is definitely a comfort read. And if you've never read 84 Charing Cross Road, it is really a wonderful epistolary, it's nonfiction. Helene Hanff details the correspondence that she shared in what exactly was the time period? The 40s and 50s, I think. 40s, 50s to 60s. Her written correspondence, snail mail correspondence, with a independent bookshop in England, and she lived in New York and then later in California, and she was what was she? She was a film writer. I think that was her main occupation, was film writer. Maybe I need to go back and read the first one again. But anyway, she would order books from them, and she got into a friendship through the letters with this bookstore. And I'm not going to go on and on about that book, but that is a great Shorty September book if you've never read it. But this is the sequel, when she actually finally goes on a trip and visits England. Because all through 84 Charing Cross Road, she talks about wanting to go there, but all these different life impediments pop up and she never goes. And then finally, I guess she does go. And I've never read this. So this is going to fall under, number 9 is Mom Shorts, a comfort read. And I got to tell you that any type of shorts from this list, if I put them on, when I wear them, they're all mom shorts. But it's supposed to be your comfort or your cozy read. So I think that would fit under this category. My next selection is something that was on my August TBR, but I haven't gotten to it unless I just happen to read it in these last few days. But I've kind of have some other things on the docket. But that is Boulder by Eva Baltasar. This was translated by Julia Sanchez, and it is about a woman who works on a merchant ship, and she falls in love. She's Boulder. She falls in love with Samsa, who gives her that nickname, and they move in together. I think Boulder has lived kind of an itinerant lifestyle, but Samsa wants to become more domestic and have a child, and Boulder is extremely conflicted about this decision. So it's very short, and I've heard nothing but wonderful things about it, and I have been on the absolute verge of reading it for 2 months now. So what better time? Oh, and the category is number 12, Lederhosen, a translated book. And I have this little cutie, which is Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley. I picked this up, you might remember from a previous haul video, that I got this at a library book sale, and it is about a dude who goes around with a mobile bookstore in the early 20th century. It does have a sequel called The Haunted Bookshop, where he settles in Brooklyn. But this is supposed to be the better one of the two, and it's supposed to be very fun and eccentric and charming and British. Okay, that one could be number 1, an unexpected purchase, which the category is Pedro Pascal shorts, like the ones that he decided to wear to the Met Gala, when you buy something that you didn't know you were going to buy. So this was an unexpected find. So I will put it under Pedro Pascal, but also it's also mom shorts. It's another comfort read, I anticipate. All right, then we have a book from the library that I've been meaning to read for a long time, which is Passing by Nella Larsen, which is the description. You probably have heard of this book, but Claire Kendry leads a dangerous life. Fair, elegant, and ambitious, she is married to a white man, unaware of her African-American heritage, the man, that is, and has severed all ties to her past. Claire's childhood friend, Irene Renfield, just as light-skinned, has chosen to remain within the African-American community but refuses to acknowledge the racism that continues to constrict her family's happiness. A chance encounter forces both women to confront the lies they have told others and the secret fears they have buried within themselves. It sounds so good, and I've been meaning to read it for years and years, and so I requested it from the library, and here it is. And that one, I think I would put it under, I see two categories that it could go. Number 8, Denim Shorts, which is a modern classic because this book was written or published in 1929. It also could be Half and Half Shorts, which is read a book then watch the movie, because I believe that a movie was made of this in the past few years. So that is Passing by Nella Larsen. Then we have this one, another epistolary one, but this one is a novel. So Long, a Letter by Mariama. This was written by a Senegalese author who is writing, this whole thing is a very long letter that she is writing to a friend. She is widowed, and she's writing to her friend about the different emotions and experiences she had when her husband took a second wife. And it was legal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it sat well with her or that it felt right in her heart. And it says, although sanctioned by Islam, his action is a calculated betrayal of her trust and a brutal rejection of their life together. This novel is a perceptive testimony to the plight of those articulate women who live in social milieu dominated by attitudes and values that deny them their proper place. I got this book for a class in African literature that I took when I was a graduate student thousands of years ago, and I've had it ever since. I really loved it when I read it, and it's been in my library but kind of overlooked until I know that I think that Roz mentioned this in a video about short novels, or maybe it was about epistolary novels. I think that was it. I'll see if I can find that video and link it below. Roz at Scally Dandling about the books, but she reminded me about this, and I've been thinking about it ever since the past few months, and so I've put it into my September pile. So Long, a Letter by Mariama, and that one is going to be number 3, Shorty Shorts, a book from the 70s or 80s, because this was published in 1980. So it wasn't that old of a book when I took the class. It was less than 10 years old then, but now it's gotten older. My next book is Riambel by Priya, Hein, and I showed this in a recent haul video. And look, it has French flaps. So this was my original one that I thought, oh, it has water on the cover. I don't know if it fits into any of the other categories as well, but it is an underwater scene. It is really quite beautiful. It takes place on an island, Mauritius, the island nation of Mauritius. And this is a book tube made me do it, because I never would have heard of this book or seen it, I don't think, anywhere if I hadn't heard a number of people review it and talk so highly about it. So I want to read it as well. That's one of my longer shorties. How many pages does it have? 155. So it still stays within my artificial boundaries. And then so those are the ones I'm thinking about officially for Shorty September, along with my short stories. I'm also going to be reading A Passage to India by Ian Forster for the Forster read along, and it's not short, it's kind of regular length, and it has an ominous splotch on it. I have had this particular copy also since the 80s, and I will confess that I think I DNF'd this book way back in the day. I think something about it was not working for young Angelia. It might be because that was the time when I was reading Room with a View and Howard's Inn and Morris, and this one was very different in setting and probably, I don't know about the themes, but fortunately I kept it, and so I'm hoping that old Angelia will appreciate it more than silly little young Angelia did way back when. So I will be reading this, and it's supposed to be good, so we shall see. So that's it that I have to share with you. I am about to be swept up in a library flood because I requested a number of books, some that I thought would be fun or some that I've just been waiting for a while, and they're all coming in at once. I got notifications yesterday and I looked it up, and there was a whole bunch of books that either were waiting or they were in transit. So they're all going to be there by tomorrow. So there will be books that you have not seen me talk about that will be popping up in the Friday reads as September rolls along. But you're going to be seeing a lot of me because I'll be doing a few extra videos for the short stories and some community posts about those as well. So I'm just warning you now. Every time you look at YouTube, I'm probably going to be in there again. So I hope that you are also ready for the exciting change of the month to September and the false promises of cooler weather. I was at Target a day or two ago and they already had their pumpkin spice and cinnamon and apple flavored everything's going. Everybody's standing there. It's like 102 degrees. Everybody's standing in line in shorts and flip-flops, and people are ordering all of these fancy pumpkin flavored things, and it was kind of funny. And of course, I'm just ordering plain black iced tea. But anyway, I'm ready for September. There's still a few more days in August, so I'll be reading at least another book or two to talk to you about next week. But until then, that's what I have in mind. What are you doing for Shorty September? I know there's some other events as well besides Shorty September, so let me know what you're going to participate in. I'm going to just focus on this one this time, but it's time for some more good reading. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.